What does it mean to be unstoppable?
Charging straight into the action there.
Unstoppable is a celebration of character.
This is the definition of Iron Man as they go up and around.
When all is against you, you keep going.
They find something deep inside of you.
When being knocked down is just the moment before you get back up.
That is unbelievable.
When others say you can't, but you know you can. Never give up.
She salutes the crowd and grabs the tape, and what a winner was.
Witness the unstoppable, the Nutri-Grain Iron Man and Iron Woman series.
Hello and welcome to Kingscliff Beach, northern New South Wales, for day number 3 in this amazing trifecta of Iron Series racing. It's round 3 of the Nutri-Grain Iron Man and Iron Woman series. We started on Friday with the Enduro Surf through to the Super Sprint yesterday, and today it's my favourite format. It's called Survival. And whilst it's all smiles here in the commentary box, Josh, I can't imagine what these athletes are going to go through. Are we breaking new ground here? Have we ever had 3 consecutive days of full point scoring racing back to back like this?
Well, it's only the second time in over 30 years that we've had 3 races in 3 days. You add survival on top of that, and that makes it a torture test. Only the fittest and the fastest will survive.
Well, it was gruelling over the last 2 days. How do they recover, and who does this really suit?
Well, it suits the guys who've done the work in the off-season, the endurance athletes. I know the races are short and sharp, but when you're tired after day on day on day racing, it comes down to the base work you've done in winter.
And of course, due to COVID restrictions, all rounds here in northern New South Wales, Josh, let's have a look at how summer's lined up.
That's it. We're wrapping things up today with Survival, the third of 3 rounds for our first weekend. We'll come back in a fortnight's time to do it all again with Enduro Surf, the Specialist, and then we go into Survival once again. We take a look at the overall standings on the women's side, and Lana Rogers, a perfect performance so far, 40 points. 4 points behind her is Lizzie Wellborn, and then Georgia Miller on 32. The big story is Tiani Massey sitting 4th overall as a wild card. It's very impressive. On the men's side of things, Ali Day, like Lana, a massive performance over the last 2 rounds to sit on 40. Then Timperley and Borg, 3 and 4 points behind respectively. But the big story, Poole, Hendy and Linden, all outside the top 10 and with plenty of work to do.
And of course, as we've seen, unstoppable Ali Day, 2 from 2 so far. But it was only 12 months ago we were wondering, would we ever see Ali Day in that race singlet again?
The arms punch the sky.
After winning the 2019 Kellogg's Nutri-Grain Ironman series, it was by far the best feeling I've experienced as an Ironman. A freak accident in July of 2019 saw me break both my wrists, and there was obviously that doubt that I might not be able to compete again. I really drew upon what kind of character I wanted to be. The fact of the matter is I just couldn't end my career like that. You need to have a strong character, a strong will. You need to be resilient. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm fitter, healthier, happier than I've ever been. And I can't wait to get my foot on the start line and race in the Nutri-Grain series again.
And we'll see if Ali Day can make it 3 from 3 just a little bit later on today. But right now, we've got down on the sand an Iron Woman who's looking to go one better here today. It's Newport's Lizzie Wellborn, and she's down there with Jordan Mercer.
Thanks guys. Lizzie Wellborn, endurance animal. It's now 3rd day of racing in a row. Does this favour you?
It definitely doesn't scare me. I know a couple of girls are really scared about racing 3 days in a row because we haven't done that in a while, except I back our training. We've trained to race day after day, and going into a 3rd day, I'm feeling pretty good, and yeah, I'm definitely not scared of doing it for the 3rd time.
You're renowned as a very clever, smart racer. Today, do you have a plan for the Survivor format?
I do have a bit of a plan. I'm sure it's the same as everyone. We're all going to have Lana in our eyes, just try and mimic what she's doing, stick with her, get in front of her. But yeah, she's going to be the forefront of my plan.
Today, you are 4 points off that leader point score. Do you think you can take that lead after today?
Today, that would be hard. I know, I can't control how Lana races. I definitely know that in the overall series, including the next 4 rounds, she's definitely beatable, and I'm not thinking that she's won it already. Definitely not.
Thanks, Lizzie. Good luck.
Thank you.
Coming off the 3rd in the series last year, she continues to improve. Lizzie Wellborn, we'll see if she can take it up to the great Lana Rogers here today. Now, the conditions yesterday and on Friday were gruelling. They were hot. Jordan Mercer, are conditions going to get any easier for these athletes here today?
Conditions have changed dramatically overnight. Today we have 30-knot southerly winds. For the athletes, that means offshore breezes. I think we can expect to see some really tight-knit pack racing. Keep in mind, when the athletes turn the cans, if anyone breaks away from the pack, they're going to be doing so against 30-kilometre winds. That is some serious strength. Surf-wise, we've got 1 to 2 foot on the cards, and it's raining on and off. We've got 26 degrees in and out of the water. It's going to be some hot racing no matter what. I can't wait to see the action.
Thanks, Jordan. Well, yesterday in the super sprint format, Josh, everyone made it through to the final, but today's survival. And if you're anywhere near that end bubble, it's situation critical.
That's it. Stay off the bottom. That's the story of the day for survival. We have 3 races. We're going to drop the bottom 6 out in race 1, the bottom 6 out in race 2. That will leave a top 8, and then they're racing for all the chocolates there. First across the line will be our round 3 winner.
Survival, it's our favourite format. So much pressure, so much expectation, but it's a star-studded field.
Yeah, let's take a look at the women's field as they line up. And of course, in yellow on top is our series leader, Lana Rogers. She's the defending series champion as well. Miller down to Cooper. They're going to wear green as the qualifiers from last year. The rest of the girls are in pink, except for Tiani Massey and Electra Outram. They're the wild cards, and they'll line up in orange today, and they've been on fire so far.
20 amazing Iron women, Josh, and 3 exciting elimination races. It's called Survival. We'll find out who gets to the top of the podium right after this. Welcome back to the stunning surrounds of Kingscliff Beach here in northern New South Wales. It's round 3 of the Nutri-Grain Iron Women. It's Survival, Josh Minoga. We are just moments away from the start here. The excitement builds, and these athletes are ready to roll.
That's it, race 1 of 3. You've got to stay out of the bottom 6. We saw Lizzie Wellborn there. She spoke to Jordan Mercer before, and interesting to hear from her. It's all about Lana Rogers. She said, I'm going to try and stick with Rogers. She's done so well over the last 2 days, and she was on fire, but I think these girls have got to race their own race, and there is no holding back, that's for sure. You can't win it in the first race, but you can definitely lose it. Swim, board, ski is the order early on, and while there looks like there's no waves at the moment, there's enough there to sort of mix things up, especially when you get in on the shore, and then that shore break, it can make a massive difference. If you end up underneath one, you could be in trouble. The girls are off and into the swim already, and it looks like maybe they're it looks like Lizzie Wellborn's gone to the lead in the swim, and that says a good start for her.
Lizzie Wellborn, very clear message before the race. She is ready. She is ready to challenge Lana Rogers. She's got a plan, and it's survival, Josh. Here, this format, it's all about staying in the front, staying out of that red zone.
That's exactly right. As Courtney Hancock starts to make her move down this side, maybe Taylor Halliday alongside her. So one of the young guns sitting inside the top 10 on the overall point score, but has had an up and down weekend, and definitely one of the best swimmers in the business. On the other side there in a second pack, it's definitely Georgia Miller, who's now gone to the lead. We spoke about her yesterday. Friday wasn't great by her standards. Yesterday was very, very good, and I think she's finally found her form.
Josh, it was amazing to see that pre-race there, like the gladiators in the arena, the tension down there. Lana Rogers has come out in these first 2 rounds and made a massive statement, but Georgia Miller, look at this, the response is on. She's gone to the lead. Lizzie Wellborn, they've got a plan. We love it. This is what racing is all about.
They head around that first red can there, and it looks like someone's just ducked up the inside of Georgia Miller there. Tiani Massey in the orange just got shot out the back, and have a look at the fight that's on in the pack there. 20 girls in the space of about 5 square metres, and that doesn't work. You have to find the space if you can get it. Lana Rogers right in the centre of screen. She's about 3 back, 3 wide at the moment. Not perfect positioning, and probably the furthest we've seen her back at any point in any race in the last 2 days. So an interesting start from the rest of these girls. They're not letting her control the race like she did the last couple of days.
And that's what she's done so well in the first 2 rounds. We knew this response was coming. As we said, these girls had the look in their eyes. They went off the beach and to the lead. They've taken control of this race out to that lead pack.
Yeah, very strong. We see Miller take the lead once again. Behind her, Harriet Brown is there. So is Courtney Hancock. So looking very, very very strong. The rest of the field strung out. Looks like Electra Outram just going out on her own, along with Tiani Massey. Of course, they're the two girls in orange. The girls in pink came through the trial. The girls in green, they qualified from last summer. And obviously our leader, Lana Rogers, she will wear yellow. Swim, board, ski. You've got to stay out of the bottom 6. That's the story of race 1. And if you're this far behind, like some of the girls up the back are already, it's almost race over. Looks like maybe Gemma Smith just struggling there at the very, very top of the screen and really struggling to hang on to the back of this pack.
And great to see as well, Josh. Another great story out of the first 2 rounds of summer. The orange colours, if you're watching at home, these are our wild cards. And Tiani Massey, what a great meet she's having so far. 2 solid performances, placing her right at the top of the points placings for summer so far. Yeah,
very, very impressive so far. I'd love to see her do her work. I think that's Naomi Scott in the pink, who's up alongside Miller. We'll see when they stand up. They're about to come into the break zone, and there's a little push on the back. I don't know if the back markers will get it. Oh, yes, they will. So this will turn it on its head. Miller stands up. She's going to get swamped. She does the big belly flop down as some go past her, and guess who stands up in front? Lana Rogers. She has got the skills to pay the bills, and it was very, very impressive for her. Up and around through transition, the girls going. It's Hannah Scully. Great swim from her. Naomi Scott, she was our leader the whole way around in third. Then Hancock, Miller's there, Papak, Harriet Brown, Mackenzie, Spencer, Maddie Dunn, Tiani Massey has dropped back thanks to that wave. The girls, they're onto the boards now. Long way down, Jade Hardstaff, Electra Outram, and Gemma Smith is in last place after being consistently in the top 10 for the last 2 days.
And that's the red zone we've spoken about, Josh. This is survival. This format, we will eliminate Iron Women every single round.
That's it. 6 would have gone out. So if we'd stopped the race there, Woods, Corrin, Doyle, Hardstaff, Outram and Smith all would have gone.
Lana Rogers to the lead here. Round number 3 of the Nutri-Grain Iron Women. We'll be right back. Through the Nutri-Grain Iron Women, it is survival. We're in race number 1, Josh. We're in the second leg. We're on the board following the swim, and it's starting to get critical now. Red zone for that bottom 6.
Yeah, that's it. We're halfway through the first race. Swim done, board halfway done, ski to go, and you've got to stay out of the bottom 6. And this is where it's going to get very interesting. Lizzie Wellborn's just gone to the lead in the break. Lana Rogers just eased off the pace, sitting alongside Georgia Miller in the middle and green. And off to the left-hand side, Carla Papak there. So great to see the young girl from Wanda just in her first full-time series making an impact. But out the back, this is where it gets interesting. Danielle McKenzie is sitting in that bottom 6 at the moment. So is Gemma Smith. It's very, very tough for a couple of these girls. Jade Hardstaff, Electra Outram, Emily Doyle, Olivia Corrin. That's our bottom 6 right now, and they are desperate for a wave. You just have to finish in the top 14 to survive. That's all that matters. First to 14th, you get a spot in the next round. So you stay out of the bottom 6, you stay alive, and Lizzie Wellborn looks so comfortable alongside Harriet Brown. She won survival last year. She's very, very good at it. Harriet Brown loves this kind of racing. You build through it. You've got to be strong early on, and there's no holding back here. It's foot to the floor from race number 1. As a little wave starts to come down, the girls push down one at the moment. They'll come up, and alongside Lizzie Wellborn, Tiani Massey joins Lizzie Wellborn, Carla Papak, Georgia Miller, Harriet Brown, and of course Lana Rogers as they go into the second transition in this opening race. And we have a top 6 at the moment, but it's the bottom 6 that we're worried about. Rogers in 1, Wellborn 2, Miller 3, Harriet Brown 4, Papak, Tiani Massey, Danny McKenzie, she's got a wave and she's back into it. That is how quickly this can change. Spencer goes through as well. This is where it starts to get interesting. Hannah Scully right on the edge. Brielle Cooper, she is sitting in 14th, so this is the red zone. Emily Doyle goes through, Taylor Halliday, Electra Outram, Olivia Corrin, Gemma Smith and Jade Hardstaff. Gemma Smith, that's the big story. One of the girls in the green togs, she finished second in races last year. She's been on the podium before. She looks like going out in race 1 here today.
And I love it, Josh. This is where the racing, that pure race mentality comes about. Loved seeing Lana Rogers there on the hill. Those little tiny things. She decided to put that extra effort in just to lead this pack out, making a statement there. D-Mac, Danielle McKenzie knew she had to make a big move in that leg. That's pure racing experience. That's going to be the difference here in survival.
Yeah, and I think she got a little bit lucky running down the point. She got a wave there. That helped her, but she knew if she didn't get that wave, it was all over for her. Luckily, her ski legs are stronger. She's leading that second pack, but it's Rogers at the bottom. Behind her, Wellborn in the yellow, Georgia Miller in the centre, Harriet Brown on the right-hand side, Papak and Tiani Massey sitting off the tail of the group there. And then there's a big gap back to Danielle McKenzie, the rest of the girls. Interestingly, Brielle Cooper sitting in 14th place. She's had back-to-back sort of 18th and 19th place finishes over the last couple of days, a 17th and an 18th actually, not what she wanted. Former IronWoman Series champion, she is dicing with death by sitting right on the red zone. She's the last one that would have qualified if we'd stopped the race there, but luckily we got a ski leg to go.
And some of the challenges we've spoken about over these 3 days, what was going to happen after such a long layoff from racing? We know these athletes are all in great shape, but this is back to pure racing.
Yeah, and if you're not good on day one, it can shatter your confidence for the rest of the weekend. It's so tight, it's so fast. This weekend's almost over, and these girls won't know of what hit them yet. So it's all about being as good as you possibly can on day one and then building from there. And that's what 1 and 2 are doing. First and second in the race, first and second in the series. Lana Rogers and Lizzie Wellborn. Have a look at that wind just starting to pick up at the moment. Brown's going a little bit wide on the right-hand side. Georgia Miller's just tucked in behind. Papak's there, so's Tiani Massey. Maddie Spencer, Naomi Scott, a long way back to the left-hand side of the screen. That looks like the backpack there. So Gemma Smith, Electra Outram, Olivia Corrin, Hannah Scully, they're all at the back end. Jade Hardstaff's around with plenty of work to do. It looks like Gemma Smith's getting herself out of trouble at the moment, but I don't know if it's enough. There's a little wave for our front markers. They're just going to collect this one and ease themselves all the way to the beach, and have a look at it. The big four.
The big four.
It's Brown, Wellborn, Georgia Miller and Lana Rogers as they work their way in. Behind them, Carla Papak's caught in no man's land, and it looks like here comes in the centre of screen, Courtney Hancock will run down one. So it's not the front we're worried about, it's out the back. Olivia Corrin, Jade Hardstaff, Electra Outram, they look like they're in trouble. Hannah Scully as well, they really need to get going. Emily Doyle's there as well, so the pressure's on and you can see the ratings start to lift. Maddie Dunn gets one on the left-hand side. Our leaders are all right, and wow, Carla Papak from the Wanda Club, she trains under a former Australian Ironman champion, Nathan Smith, and she's really putting on a show here, so great from her. Rogers is up first. We're not worried about where you come unless you're in the bottom 6, tall man. It's all about getting across the line in the top 14. So Rogers 1, Brown 2, Papak in 3, 4 is Miller, 5 is Wellborn, 6 is Scott, 7 McKenzie, 8 is Massey, 9 is Hancock, 10 Brielle Cooper there. This is it, only 4 more places. Maddie Dunn will survive. She gets around. Gemma Smith, Spencer, this is the race. Scully gets there, and Emma Woods, I think she's missed out. Woods is 15 and she's gone. Day over for Emma Woods. So too for Taylor Halliday, Olivia Corrin and Jade Hardstaff. So Emma Woods, Taylor Halliday, Olivia Corrin, Jade Hardstaff, Emily Doyle and Electra Outram. We will say goodbye to them for today, and that's got to be heartbreaking for some of these girls. They were so close, they were in the mix of it, and now it's all over Red Rover.
It's electric, this survival format. That is why we love it down here. The action in those first 2 races, that's almost where it stays, in that red zone of who's going to get through. You keep yourself at the front of the pack, you keep yourself out of trouble, otherwise that's where you end up. Let's get down with her toes in the sand to Jordan Mercer.
Lana, it's a different day of racing today. We have some waves on the cards.
Yeah, it's definitely hard punching into that win, especially on that ski. Next race, who knows? I know Lizzie's going to go out pretty fast, so yeah, fingers crossed for me and I make it into that last race.
That's what it's about, making that final, then it starts. Any plans for race 2?
Honestly, just keep it consistent and then whoever wants it on the last race.
Bring it on. Go Lana.
Another chat there with Lana Rogers. We're getting used to those, synonymous with finishing at the front right now. But the chase pack has a plan. They're ready to rumble. Survival race number 2 coming up right after this. Said goodbye to that bottom 6 in the red zone. It's survival time.
Green is good, red is bad, and the girls in the top 10 will be loving that. Very strong. Carla Papak was the standout in race number 1. The rest of the girls look Strong, but a little bit like they're getting revved up. But down the bottom, it's Woods, Taylor Halliday, Corrin, Hardstaff, Doyle and Outram. They are the ones who will go home. Bottom 6 heading home today. And now we've got 14 on the line, set and ready to go. Brielle Cooper there, closest to screen. Well, I think that's a breakout race for her. She's really turned herself around after some, less than impressive results on day 1 and 2. I think she will fight it out for the win here. The girls are on the line, set and ready to go. Race number 2 of Survival will drop 6 more out of this one. Board, ski and swim. That's how they'll do it, and rain is starting to fall there. The wind's starting to pick up. I think a storm's on the way.
And great to see some waves coming. Brielle Cooper, we spoke about Josh as well. A former series champion. She loves the big surf. She loves the challenging conditions. And she'll feel better after that, Josh, as we're in the starter's hands and set to rumble.
Off and away. It's all about getting a good start at the moment and making sure you don't get clipped by this shore break that's becoming very, very tough for these girls to handle, especially on the ski. Centre of the screen, Danielle McKenzie really going to work. She looks very, very strong there. That's the grey and yellow board. Have a look at Lizzie Wellborn down the outside. She is flying. She's gone past Naomi Scott like she was shot out of a gun. So what about that? She's the best board paddler in the world. She was really pushing hard in that first race, and she has shown her intentions early in this second race. She's gone to the front and she wants to lead.
We spoke to her pre-race and it was a clear message. She has a plan. She's going to take it to Lana Rogers today. You can put the money on that.
And that's it. Have a look who comes up alongside her there. Lana Rogers in the yellow, working her way into this race. Harriet Brown, Georgia Miller. We're starting to sound like broken records. It's the same people doing the same things, but that's because they've done the work. They've gotten to this point as fit and as fast as they possibly can be. They've got their race heads on and they are ready to go right here, right now. They know that you can't come from the back. If you're 14th through and then you're 8th through, you will not survive in survival. You've got to lead from the start.
And I loved in that first race, the shot coming down the wave. We saw Brown, Miller and Wellborn go right up to Rogers and say, we are still here. We are ready to go.
That's it. They turn the can and work across the back of the break on the boards at the moment. So Wellborn in 1, Miller in 2, Brown in 3, Lana Rogers, Danielle McKenzie, Naomi Scott, Tiani Massey there as well. Courtney Hancock works her way into this one. Brielle Cooper, she is sitting on the inside, coming around the can now. Gemma Smith with plenty of work to do in the back end, and you've got to stay out of the bottom 6 on this one. You've got to really do the work early and not get yourself in trouble. And that's what's happened to Carla Papak, top left-hand corner of the screen. She was up the front in race 1. She's now down the back in race 2.
And leading them out here, look at this. Absolutely upping that rating, Wellborn, Josh. She is really trying to light this one up. She's putting a little break in there. As we said, it's all about staying out of that red zone here in Survival.
Here we go. A few little runners on the front of this one there. The top 4 pushing down it, and it's a carbon copy of race number 1 there. Rogers at the top, then Lizzie Wellborn, the yellow board, Georgia Miller in the pink in the centre, Harriet Brown, and then Danielle McKenzie. And, Miller, McKenzie and Brown, they all train together under Naomi Flood at BMD Northcliffe, so they know each other very well. Lizzie Wellborn's based on the Northern Beaches in Sydney. Lana Rogers up at Alexandra Headland up on the Sunshine Coast, so they come from all over the country, but they're going head-to-head now in race number 2 of Survival.
And speaking to the coaches, what's the plan after such a dominant display by Rogers over the last 2 days? How do you combat that? What do they bring into this race?
Well, it's all about just recovering in between rounds, making sure you go for a swim, make sure you do the right thing, have something to eat and drink, and then get your foot on the line, get your head right, and give it everything you've got. It's pretty simple when it comes to races number 2 and 3. Just empty the tank and hope you've got something left for the next one. Wellborn goes through, Rogers, Brown, then Miller and McKenzie.
And summertime, I was just saying in Josh, a couple of drip drops, but we don't stop. Good afternoon to be in the commentary box. A change coming through, as we mentioned before the race. So again, conditions are going to change for these athletes here. Lizzie leading it out, 2.9 back to Lana, Harriet at 4, Miller at 6. So the gap nice and close here, but no real worries at the front. It's all about who's in that bottom 6, the red zone.
The bottom 6 right now is Dunn, Cooper, Papak, Smith, Spencer, Hancock, and the girls are getting smashed. The girls are getting smashed at the back by this shore break. They're going to have to deal with this one as well. They get up and over only just. Hannah Scully, I don't think so. Hannah Scully at the bottom of the screen there just couldn't get her ski going, couldn't get the speed up. She's doing it tough.
The swell's on the rise, the action's heating up, Josh. We're going to be right back in 60 seconds. The Nutri-Grain IronWoman, it's Survival. Beach. It's survival format we're racing. Welcome back wherever you're watching. The action, it's fast and furious.
Have a look at it. Have a look at it. The rains are here and that wind has come with it as well. It is punishing these girls. It is pushing them sideways. They're going to be clashing paddles. They're going to be going into each other. It's just another element that makes survival the toughest format in surf sports racing. It is unbelievable. Lizzie Wellborn and Lana Rogers side by side and against the elements.
And let's not forget, this is 3 consecutive days of racing. We started with Enduro Surf, into the Super Sprint, and we're back today with Survival, the best of the best.
Oh, save the best for last. Have a look at the technique out in front from Lizzie Wellborn. She looks so strong. Lana Rogers looks very comfortable as well in second. Wellborn's pushing the pace now, pushing down a runner. She's just waiting for that nose to dip over the top. Here comes Rogers down one as well. So Rogers puts the power down, and sometimes chasing runners isn't about just hammering yourself the whole way in. It's about knowing when to apply the power, and Lana Rogers has done that so very well. Very impressive. So 1 and 2 are on the beach. Board and ski are done. We're into race 2 of 3 in survival. We've just got the swim leg to go. Don't worry about the top 8. That's where you want to be. Worry about it if you're in the bottom 6, because they are going home after race 2. Rogers in 1, Wellborn in 2, Brown in 3, Miller, Gemma Smith, Danielle McKenzie. They will roll through this the second transition and into the final leg looking very comfortable. This is where it starts to get interesting. Carla Papak, Courtney Hancock, and from here on out, you are in trouble. You don't want to be behind Maddie Dunn. This is the red zone. Naomi Scott rolls through. She's the best swimmer in the field. She is a very good swimmer. She'll hope to catch up some spots, but she's a long, long way down. Tiani Massey, Hannah Scully working through. Brielle Cooper is running like a woman possessed. Maddie Spencer works her way through there, swims her weakest leg. She's in trouble. She's definitely in the red zone.
And it is time to make your move now. You cannot leave anything in the tank. You've got to stay out of that 6. The leaderboard there, as we can see it, Lana Rogers, a second back there to Lizzie Wellborn, Harriet Brown and Georgia Miller. The big response, the big 4, as we spoke of before. Big move from Gemma Smith. Great to see her back up there. We know what a talent she is and what an enduro athlete. As we go on further, she'll get better in this race. Gemma Smith, D-Mac just sitting really nicely there. Carla Papak, Courtney Hancock, Maddie Dunn and Naomi Scott. There's your top 10.
If you're Maddie Dunn and Naomi Scott and further down the list, you don't worry that you're 20 seconds down. You just want to know how far you are to 8th. So Maddie Dunn right on the heels of Courtney Hancock. Just a matter of seconds. You've got to go to work here in this final swim leg. The swimmers have got to come to the fore and see if they can get the job done. The likes of Naomi Scott and Tiani Massey, Brielle Cooper, they can swim their way into this race. And if you're, well, Courtney Hancock or Carla Papak, you might be worried that somebody's going to come over the top and steal your spot in the final. But if you're in the lead, it's all about lengthening out, lowering the heart rate and making sure you do just enough to get to that final race with a full tank of gas.
And these leaders, they'll control that. They're very experienced racers. They'll know this now. And as we said, with these changing conditions, Josh, you can see it across the screen there. Look at the swell starting to roll in. We've got a little storm coming across, and that wind, it's gone from the north to the south as well. So these waves will help these athletes as they turn those cans.
Yeah, and it's just picking up, making the runners pick up ever so slightly, and it really helps on the ski and the board. But in this final swim leg, it's not going to provide anything but a little bit of a push sideways and make it tougher to swim for them. So we like to add another element of toughness here in the Nutri-Grain IronWoman series. It is fantastic to see these 4 girls and Tiani Massey as well so far go head to head, race after race after race. I spoke to a few of them this morning, and they're under no illusions. The people who win survival formats are the ones who get on the front in race 1. They dictate terms to everybody else. They set the pace and they put everyone else under pressure. And we've seen Lana Rogers, Lizzie Wellborn, Georgia Miller do that in race 1. They've done it in race 2, and it's paying dividends.
And we can see that wind now, Josh, 30 to 40 kilometres blowing into their face, blowing across this course there after 3 days of grueling racing. A big southerly buster straight across the course.
So brutal, and it's 4 out in front. Dani McKenzie and Gemma Smith, I think, have been caught by the pack. So Courtney Hancock working her way through the field. Gemma Smith, Dani McKenzie, Carla Papak, they're all in that group. Maddie Dunn, Scott, Massey, Scully, Cooper as well, and Maddie Spencer. That is the red zone down the bottom, and you've got to stay out of the bottom 6. We're sending 6 home in this one. We're sending 8 through to the final. The girls out in front are fine. They're no dramas at all. The ones out the back, this is where the issues start to come. That's Gemma Smith leading that second pack. Dani McKenzie's just drifted off. Courtney Hancock's behind her, so it looks like Smith in 5 at the moment. Courtney Hancock in 6. Maybe Maddie Dunn in 7. So that's interesting. Dani Tiani Massey has dropped right onto the bubble.
So the red zone, this is why we call it survival, Josh. We know our leaders are looking very good. They'll come up the beach very controlled, but it's all about surviving through to the final round.
No reward for winning this one. You just get a little bit more rest, and you can see them all looking around, wondering who got through and who missed out. So Lana Rogers in yellow, she survives. Georgia Miller survives. Harriet Brown, so does Lizzie Wellborn. So that's 4. 5 is Gemma Smith. Tiani Massey again in 6. 7 looks like Courtney Hancock. So that's 5 across the line, 6 across the line, 7 across the line. One more. Who is it? Naomi Scott will get there. Naomi Scott gets the last spot. Maddie Dunn, Brielle Cooper miss out. So does Carla Patback. And just like that, we have our top 8. Tiani Massey goes home with a strong finish, but not what she would have wanted. Just outside the top 10. And you can see the frustration on the face of some of these girls. They know they were close, but just not close enough.
And it's such a brutal format. So close, yet so far sometimes. You can be right on that cusp. Just a couple of seconds will be the difference between you heading back up for recovery or grabbing a couple of moments and getting set for a crack at the title. Let's get down onto the sand with Jordan Mercer.
Georgia Miller, you're racing at another level today. It's all forgotten. Final race, what's the plan?
Yeah, those other 2 races don't really mean anything other than just getting through. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be in this last race. That's an achievement in itself. So, yeah, just reset and try and go again with whatever we've got left. And it's really tough out there. That wind is really strong.
The wind is strong, but you have been pulling away on those craft legs. Can we expect to see that in the final?
Oh, I'm going to give it my best shot. It's really hot racing out there, and yeah, Lana Rogers obviously on fire, Lizzie Wellborn, Harriet Brown. It's going to be a really tight race, so I'll be stoked to be on the podium again.
All the best, Georgia. Have fun.
Thank you.
Jordan Mercer there on the sand with Georgia Miller. What a response from her from day number 1. We're going to see who puts themselves to the top of this survival format. We'll be right back straight after this. Set for a start here in race number 3, but round 2, the second race there, threw up a few surprises.
Unbelievable finish there. Have a look at that. The big names at the top, the big 4, Gemma Smith, Tiani Massey, Courtney Hancock were under pressure, and Naomi Scott swam from the red zone into 8th place and survived the survival cutoff. Got there, Maddie Dunn, Brielle Cooper, we say goodbye to them. Cooper's best result of the summer so far, so she's headed in the right direction, and one of these girls is headed towards the podium. They're going to be on top after this race. Ski, swim, board is the final order. 8 girls, 1 prize, and all they want is to be crowned the round 3 Nutri-Grain IronWoman Series champion.
So 3 big days on the beach here. It comes down to this. We've said Lana Rogers, Enduro Surf is yours. Super Sprint, Lana Rogers, she took it again. Who's going to step up and how are they going to do it?
It's all about a good start on the ski here. That shore breaks prove very tricky for these girls, especially the ski. It's an awkward craft when you have to drag it in like they do. We like to make things a little bit tougher for these girls. So about getting on the ski, getting comfortable, getting away, get your rating up, and that can be the difference between being in the front pack. Oh, and a little false start there from Courtney Hancock. She looks around and says, it wasn't me, but I think it definitely was there. The girls will let the nerves go. She'll move herself back onto the line, set and ready.
Oh, the tension down there, Josh. You can feel it. All of these athletes are ready to step up. Rogers with the statement across the first 2 rounds. You can feel the tension down there. Gladiators circling in the arena.
And the girls asked to put their craft back down. We're just waiting for the wind and rain to go away for a second. Last year's champion at this round was Harriet Brown. She's 3 in from the camera, off and away. Finally, after a false start, they charge into the water. They'll throw the ski, do their best to get on and away and avoid any shore breaks. Rogers is the first in, but she's not the fastest away. It looks like Wellborn at the top alongside Danielle Massey and Georgia Miller, and the left-hand side of the screen has got off a lot faster than the right, and it looks like Danielle McKenzie, the World Ocean Ski Champion, is the fastest off the start.
Oh, look, at a real contender. We know how good she is in the endurance style of racing. We know she's going to go out on this ski super hard, look to give herself a break there and hold on, knowing that she's so good at the longer style of racing. After 3 big days, she'll trust her training. Can she get out? Can she make a break? The D-Mac on the attack.
Yeah, that's it. McKenzie in the lead. She is absolutely flying out in front. Miller offside her. Lana Rogers as you head closer towards us. Gemma Smith, watch for her late on the ski. Harriet Brown on the yellow. Courtney Hancock the closest to screen. Naomi Scott is off the back. She's just struggling to hang on. And Lizzie Wellborn on the left-hand side there as they start to work in behind each other. And Lana Rogers, perfect positioning on the inside, but McKenzie doesn't give her any room at all. Jams her up against the cans and leads through the opening ski leg. We'll go ski, swim, board with Danielle McKenzie on the front, Lana Rogers and Georgia Miller in 2 and 3.
Paddles to the sky here, Joshy. This is the turn that we've spoken about. Look at the white caps at the top of the screen. A 40k an hour southerly buster, just to throw another little twist and turn to the conditions here today.
And what that means is the girls are going to try and run their skis back towards that white can. That's the board can in there, but they can't cut inside it. So they're going to run as close as they possibly can to it, use the ocean to run back. They'll lift the rating as they feel the lump come up underneath them on the ski, and they'll put the power down. So it's Rogers on the left, Miller in the centre, McKenzie on the green with the black nose ski. Behind her, Courtney Hancock, Gemma Smith with plenty of work to do. So does Naomi Scott. She's got herself back into it. Harriet Brown and Lizzie Wellborn both on the yellow. They're pushing off to the left-hand side. It's to the right-hand side, sorry. They're going to push as far as they can, turn and try and use the full force of the ocean to run back into this race. But I think they're just giving the other girls a little bit too much. They've got to turn and go for home. McKenzie will turn and go for home on this one. She'll try and push down this one. She's got it. She's pushed down harder. Miller's going to get there as well. So's Rogers. And the other girls just left it a little bit too late. You can see them start to straighten up, and a race in 8 turns into a race in 3.
The conditions, we've spoken them, Josh, especially on the ski. There is a lot more assistance. Those lines are critical. A massive break here, a little opportunity on the first leg of this race, the ski. McKenzie, Miller, Rogers.
Behind them, Courtney Hancock's run down one as well. Harriet Brown's got away. Lizzie Wellborn looks like she spent a little bit too much in the first 2 races. Danny McKenzie looks comfortable. Lana Rogers looks determined. And Georgia Miller, I think she might be like a duck on a pond. It's just all underneath the surface. She looks very calm, very collected, but you know how determined she is when she gets into the thick of racing. And this is the swim. It's go time for Rogers and Miller. And Danielle McKenzie, it is all damage control. Harriet Brown goes up. Lizzie Wellborn goes up. Gemma Smith goes up as well. Naomi Scott will come through, and the gap is already big. The gap is already out to 20+ seconds for these girls at the back, and that is not what you want in after the first leg.
So Lana Rogers there in that lead pack with Danielle McKenzie and Georgia Miller as we head back out through the break here, Josh. Can they go with Lana? Is this where she makes a move? Is this where she breaks this field?
I actually think this is where Georgia Miller's going to go. I think Miller knows that if she gets into a dogfight with Lana Rogers, it's not going to happen. Georgia Miller has got to go to the front. She's got to push the pace. They're both great swimmers. They're both some of the best in the world in ocean swimming. Georgia Miller just might have a 0.1% of a little bit more speed, and she's got to take advantage of it.
This is where you've got to take it. If you let Lana Rogers control this race, it is shut the gate. Miller here, we know how unstoppable she is. We commented on that first day here, she wouldn't have been happy to fire. It would have been burning. And you commented the look in her eye through transition then. She is going to take this out. This is her moment to take this race.
Yeah, Georgia Miller went to the World Junior Swimming Championships as an under-18, swam in the 4x100 freestyle relay for Australia. She can swim fast, and she is very good over a long distance as well. She's not going to fade at all, and she has to put the pressure down to Lana Rogers. So it's Miller in 1, Rogers in 2, Danny McKenzie. She is going up and down on the same spot as Courtney Hancock starts to catch her. They're in 3 and 4. Harriet Brown at the bottom of the screen there. She's working hard in 5. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this if Courtney Hancock was in 3rd, Harriet Brown was in 4th, and Danny McKenzie might have dropped to 6th. It's not her strongest leg, but she's a very good board paddler as well.
So she's got to hang tough there, D-Mac. We know how strong she is, but Josh, a significant move being made here by 1 and 2. Miller knows this is where she's got to put some space in this gap. This is where she's got to try and break Rogers. Can she do it?
Yeah, do the work, hope for a little bit of luck, and it's funny, the harder you work, the luckier you get in surf life saving, and Georgia Miller is hanging it all out there at the moment, and Hancock's caught McKenzie Mackenzzie in third. Hancock is up to third, so big moves from one of the best of all time in surf sports. Courtney Hancock's done it all. She's won the IronWoman series, she's won the Coolangatta Gold, she's won the Aussie title, and she is hungry for more here in her 15th year at the top level of the sport.
15 years, how amazing is that? It's been great to see. She looks so happy, she looks so fit and ready to race, and that's a monster move from Hancock in this swim.
Yeah, huge swim there. Mackenzzie continuing to drift. It looks like Wellborn and Harriet Brown might catch her there, but it's still 1 and 2. And Lana Rogers, she is responding. She's come up onto the hip and hidden herself from the wind alongside Georgia Miller. She would have decided to go to that edge because it's a little bit calmer. She's out of the wind and letting Georgia Miller take the brunt of the ocean.
And those conditions, as we said, so brutal with that southerly breeze. Georgia Miller, your leader. Lana Rogers in 2, sitting in perfect position. But now we go to the wave zone. This is critical here. This can set up that third leg for either of these athletes, depending on the surf.
And you can see the ratings started to drop a little bit. The girls are getting very, very tired. Georgia Miller's looking under her arms. Now's the time they've got to go. There's going to be a little wash up onto the shore regardless. Miller stands up. She knows it's here. A little duck dive, sets herself and body surfs it like an absolute professional. Who can ride it further out? Rogers steps up, and they're the little moments. That could be the moment that sets this win up for Lana Rogers. She was behind. She rode that wave a metre or 2 further, stands up and goes like a woman possessed through transition. She is trying to leave Georgia Miller behind.
Could that be the Nutri-Grain unstoppable moment? She took that little whitewater wave and then sprinted up that hill. Look at her going at 100% to her border. She's put 20 metres in that gap.
Georgia Miller knows she's got to get on her tail there. Rogers looks like she's just going to get hit. Miller will go straight over the top. She's got to go straight for the tail there, try and hook on. Courtney Hancock goes through in third. Danny Mackenzie's just held on to fourth. Harriet Brown's through. Lizzie Wellborn's through. They're not only fighting for race overall results, they are fighting for points in the overall series as well. Gemma Smith, Naomi Scott, they're just coming up and around and through transition, and they can't win it from here. 1 leg to go. We've had the ski, we've had the swim, we've had the board. Race number 3 of survival, and now it's down to a race in 2. Last year's 1 and 2, Lana Rogers and Georgia Miller.
The response from Miller was sensational. She knew she had to catch Rogers. She knew she had to get out the break. Miller, sensational in response, Josh.
And have a look at the race for third place. Lizzie Wellborn closest to us. Her rating is so high compared to the rest of the girls. She's gone from 6th place through transition, almost straight up into third. So the race is on. They want to stand on the podium as well. They know 1 and 2's probably gone, but it's all about pride and getting that bronze medal today for the other 4 girls.
Well, Wellborn, we know how good she is on the board. Is there enough? Can she close the gap? Is she the one that can get close enough with a bit of love from Huey, a couple of waves? Can she catch them?
I don't think so. Georgia Miller in 2nd place, trying to sneak inside Lana Rogers there, and she's closed the gap to half a board length, but Rogers responds again, and I think Lana Rogers, when we get to this second can, she is going to make sure there is 0 space for Georgia Miller to get around. She's a smart racer, Miller. She knows all the little tricks. You've got to get your nose in there on the edge, squeeze yourself around, use your competitor as a bit of a bumper to get around there, and Lana Rogers does the right thing. Here we go. The final board leg, the final race. The wind is blowing, the rain is coming down, and we've got a race in 2. First one to the beach and across the line wins round 3 and will be the ultimate survivor. Lana Rogers puts the power down. Georgia Miller's going to the right. She thinks she's found something out there. A little lump for Georgia Miller. Will Lana Rogers take advantage? I don't think so. Look at the race in the background. Hancock, Wellborn, Danielle Mackenzzie, Harriet Brown, they're all chasing third at this point, but there is nothing on offer here. There's little lumps on the horizon, but Lana Rogers, she hasn't even got onto her knees. She's just putting everything she possibly can into it on her stomach, grinding away there. Georgia Miller, she looks the more comfortable, but she's not making up ground at all. These girls are going into the critical zone right now, and there's a wave on offer.
It's time to turn and burn. No time to look over your shoulder. The waves are stacking up, Josh.
There's a wave. There's a wave for Miller. I don't know if she'll get down it. Rogers probably will. Miller's got to go. If Miller doesn't go now, it's all over. Rogers knows this is the moment. Rogers, she's not going to get there. Miller will. We've got a sprint finish. Well, it's whoever gets the momentum up the beach. Miller on the right. She gets the hurry up. She's off early. She's got the jump. Georgia Miller, she looks unstoppable. What a performance from Georgia Miller. She did everything right in race number 3. She is the ultimate survivor, and she is our round 3 champion of the Nutri-Grain IronWoman series. That is one one of the best finishes you will ever see in IronWoman racing. Lana Rogers beaten but not disgraced by any standards. She was so good. She had that race won up until about 5 metres to go, and Lizzie Wellborn, she'll keep her series hopes alive. She's paddled from 6th up into 3rd. Look at the determination there. Unbelievable from Lizzie Wellborn. Harriet Brown, Danielle McKenzie, they're all racing for points. Wellborn grits her teeth and gets across the line to finish 3rd. Here's the race for 4th. Maybe Brown and McKenzie there. The Northcliffe girls have done a fantastic job in this one. I am in shock. Georgia Miller managed to find a way and do the impossible. She is our round 3 champion.
When the champions get asked questions, they show you really who they are. Rogers led that board leg. She put the sprint on. She went in 20, 30 metres ahead. Miller had to catch her. She had to stay with her. And then the response through the break, Miller went up onto her knees, put on the afterburners, and she's taken this one out. We'll be back down onto the sand right after this. The story gives you the goosebumps, but the skills pay the bills, and Georgia Miller, she was amazing. Let's wrap up what we just saw.
It was unbelievable. Georgia Miller, she wins the battle, but Lana Rogers is winning the war at the moment, and it just leaves the door ever so slightly open for somebody else to take the title from Lana Rogers. But she's in the box seat. Wellborn was strong in 3rd to put herself up to 54 points. Further down the page, Massey and Halliday still inside the top 10.
Well, let's get down to the sand. What a race it was. Georgia Miller, our survivor winner, is with Jordan Mercer.
Georgia Miller, you have taken the win in the toughest of all formats.
Yeah, that's always a tough one. I don't think it ever gets easier. No matter how fit you are, you always manage to go a bit harder then. So I am absolutely stoked to finish the weekend off like that. I got off to a slow start and I really didn't feel great on Friday, so I'll take an 8th, and I do expect a bit of myself, so I was pretty disappointed with that. So I'm pretty proud of myself to come back with a 2nd and a win today. So yeah, all things looking good for a couple of weeks' time.
Things are looking great. I mean, to have seen you improved over these first 3 rounds, moving forward in the series, is there another level we're about to see?
Oh God, I hope so. Oh, fingers crossed. I mean, we'll go back and recover now and get ready for those next 3 rounds. So it's really exciting. I'm so happy we're back on the beach, and yeah, it's obviously not the best day on the beach today with the wind and the rain, but we love this, and throw in some more elements and we'll be happy.
It's just amazing, and I think a lot of the women were out there to beat Lana Rogers. Could it happen? Was it going to be possible? You've just proved everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Lana's on fire. She really is. All credit to her. I mean, to have 2 wins in a second, that's just unheard of in the first 3 rounds. So yeah, she's definitely the benchmark, and I'm trying to chase that, and so it was awesome to get that one up on her, and it was really, really tight, but yeah, I just gripped my teeth and got to the end.
It was incredible, Georgia. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and yeah, thanks for having us on the beach.
When the champions get asked the big questions, they show you just how good they are. Georgia Miller. We turn our attention now to the